my name's Cassie.
And I'm Miriam.
And you are at Feral Creatures Homestead. We wanted to just make sort of an introductory video of the place. We just bought it a few months ago, my husband and I, and we are trying to turn it into a beautiful urban homestead. As we take the tour, I guess I'll tell you more about it. You can see the herb spiral here in the back. That was one of the first things we did. So here's the herb spiral that we built. All of the rocks came from all over the place. So that was kind of neat. It was a lot of work to haul them up here. It was a lot of fun. And so yeah, let's turn the camera around. We've got some scraps to deliver to the chickens. So let's get going. The whole homestead is almost, well, it's 3/4 of an acre, basically. And so we're gonna go on this tour. These are the first gardens we put in. So I've always been a gardener everywhere we lived. So the first thing we did when we moved in was buy these grow bags and buy some bagged medium and started the garden. And I really mean literally, like, we had not unpacked yet. My husband was pretty annoyed that I was planting things before unpacking clothing and dishes and things, but we put those in the ground just so we have something going right away. So you can kind of see all of the broccoli and lemongrass, and we got kale. You can see our poor little cabbage that our very naughty chickens got out and ate up, and that is the reason for all of these little white tents, because our chickens are as terrible as our kids, and they just escape and tear things up all the time. So that's a loquat tree over there and a fig tree, and then there is this awesome tree that was a huge part of the reason we bought the place, because we just love this amazing tree, and clearly it's the kids' tree. They love to climb it and play in it. And then here are the lovely chickens. So, well, the lovely, very naughty chickens. You can see that our fencing is very temporary. We just had to get something up when we moved in. We had the chickens at our last place. I bought them as chicks when pandemic started. I'd been trying to get my husband for many years to agree to chickens, and he would not. And then as soon as the pandemic started, I said, gee, it would really be nice to have some eggs right now for food security. And he realized that, yeah, it would have been. And so he had a moment of weakness, and I pounced and ordered the chickens before he could change his mind. And then we found this place and had to move with baby chickens, and that was a lot of fun. And so that's why there's kind of a, you know, I made this kind of out of redneck ingenuity over here, this temporary coop, and then laying spot for them is really a shack for them, and I feel really, really bad. Luckily, we're here in San Antonio, Texas, so it doesn't get cold. So they're not suffering or anything, and they got water and food. But you can see it froze a couple nights ago, and so we had to put all of this protection around it. I will say the reason we call it Feral Creatures Homestead is because shortly after moving in, we discovered that there is a pair of foxes, an owl, a pair of hawks, several armadillos, raccoons, possums, squirrels, which are the devil, that live here. And of course, my kids are feral. So we decided that Feral Creatures Homestead was the right name.
Yep.
And so this is their laying. I don't know, Maria's gonna take the camera and show you. They started laying a few weeks ago, and it was very exciting, of course, first eggs.
Yeah.
And now we're getting 2 to 4 a day, which is awesome because we kind of assumed that as it, the days started getting shorter and the weather started getting colder, that they would stop. But so far they haven't, so that's awesome. So that's they're like, why are you taking our eggs? So their coop, though, my husband has been working on like the Four Seasons coop for them. It is really nice. My husband's a perfectionist, so this coop is taking a really long time to get built, but it will be perfect once it is built. But so now we're excited because the framing's done. We just got to get the siding and the roof put on, and the chickens will have a really nice place to live. So yeah, you can see their coop is pretty, their run is pretty large. I just put this up after we moved in. We know that this chicken wire and everything is definitely not predator proof, but their coop is, because we have had foxes try really hard to get into it, and they have not succeeded. So basically we have this just to try to keep them in. It does not work very well at keeping them in, but it's something.
Yeah. They just fly over.
They just fly over, yeah. We haven't clipped their wings, and so they can fly over. Sometimes they fly way up high into these trees up here, 20 feet in the air. And so we're leaving them like that because it's Feral Creatures Homestead, and everything here is feral. We don't want to trim the wings and hurt their ability to get away from predators, since we have so many close by. So this is kind of the back end of their run. We have sort of path down here. As you can see, it was really just a wild forest when we moved in. I really loved it. Here in San Antonio, that's unusual to kind of feel like your land is a bit of a forest. So we've got just many oak trees, and then we've got some understory trees growing. Miriam, do you want to show a close-up of the eggs? So they started out really small, but after a few weeks they started to get normal sized eggs.
Definitely bigger, yeah.
It's amazing. They taste so much better, and the yolks are darker and all of the things that you hear about. So it's been really fun. We're hoping, up north you need so much sunlight per day, but here in South Texas, it's actually harder on the plants if you have no shade. Like, people will put up shade cloth to protect the plants from the sun. So we're kind of hoping that the dappled shade all day long will produce good results. But we'll see. So we're planning to put in a couple of fruit trees over there in the understory. And then maybe at some point, some really some annual beds here along this fence, because we can't dig too deep. That's part of the where the power lines and things are, so we don't want to plant anything that's permanent there. And then we inherited this shed that's, it's got some holes in the siding and things, but it's pretty sturdy. It's not in as bad a shape as it looks. And so, you know, like this is the back corner of our property. And as you can see, it all drains down to a sort of drainage area behind here. So it's really nice because from our breakfast table, you know, all you see is forest. You don't see any other houses or anything like that. But what I'm planning, you know, Miriam and I are studying a lot about permaculture and, you know, trying to use, you know, this is obviously all in a slope. So trying to use that to divert water to some different trees and gardens. So we're learning. We don't know anything about it. So this is going to be a journey. And then you can see the fence has been taken over by nature for the most part, but I cleared this little section and I planted 2 blackberry trees. You can barely see them, but where the green things are. But that's the goal, is to plant blackberries along this entire fence. We thought about doing some other plants, but we decided to just produce a ton of blackberries, and then maybe we can, you know, make them into jam or sell them, or, you know, we thought that would be better than, you know, one of every kind of plant, trying to manage all of that. This is the shed. These were some old things that were in the shed that my kids have been destroying for fun. That's what they like to do. And so this is the other corner of our property. This is all really shaded, and so I'm not really sure if we're going to be able to plant anything here that's edible. Definitely going to be looking for some ideas, maybe even clearing out a couple of these smaller trees that are just obviously struggling anyway. But, you know, ivy's growing up all of them, so I assume that other plants can. So we'll see. Well, one big experiment. But we're back to the chicken coop. This is our wood pile for obviously all of the stuff we're building. And this was here when we moved in, this pile of wood. And so not the chair, my kids threw that on there, but the rest of the wood was here when we moved in. So eventually the plan is to build like a little wood shed. Don't need a ton of firewood here. We almost never do fires in the fireplace, but might have other uses, who knows. And then, so we're back to the house. All of these trees are loquat trees that look like this. So we have a ton of loquat trees. So I really hope my kids like loquats because I think we're going to be producing a ton of them here next early spring. So this is a huge pile of wood chips. When we moved in, we had a company, the Howe Foundation, come in and clear out all of the dead wood up in the trees, and we asked them to leave it here for us so we could do some no-dig gardens. And then, you know, obviously we don't have our own compost yet, so I had a load of compost delivered from New Earth. Our neighbors are gardeners too, so they were so patient with us, and you know, don't mind having this next to their house. But as you can see, there's no fences on the side of the house, so we may have to install some at some point because there are deer in the area, and deer, you know, eat everything. And so we'll kind of have to see as we go along how much of a nuisance they are. And so this is the front yard, and we're not sure how we're going to do it. I have a little baby moringa tree, and I'm thinking about growing the moringa tree like right here in the front, so that if it gets really cold, we can, this is the southern side of the house, so we can drape something over it and keep it warm. The same goes for, I have a lime tree and an orange tree already, and we're probably going to do like a double guild right here in the front yard with those two. Just because this is the other side's actually pretty cold, and this is the warmest spot in our land. So we'll see. And then just back around, that's just going right back to the backyard again. And that's it. I mean, so that's been our homestead tour. Miriam and I are super excited. Did I leave anything out, Miriam? that you
No,
think of?
I think you covered everything. We'll be giving updates as we go along.
Miriam's super good at propagation and starting seeds. I really suck at it, probably because I'm not organized at all, and she is. So she's the expert on that. So she'll be making some videos about propagation. She's also raised chickens before,
Yep.
so grew up raising them. So she's gonna be
Chicken whisperer.
yeah, she is the chicken whisperer. It is hilarious. Like, they come to her, they run away from me. Not sure why. I'm the vegan, she's not, but yeah, we'll be just videos on everything under the sun. Everything we do, we just want to document. Probably nobody will ever watch it except us, but it'll be nice to just kind of be able to see the 10 years development of the homestead.
Yep.
All right, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.